Can anybody stop the team of Isentech Motorsports on a road course? We could find out today. Hello, race fans. Welcome to the America's Dairyland in the state of Wisconsin, in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, I should say, at Road America. I'm Tanner Sharp in the broadcast booth here, and side by side with Justin Kolb. And in the production truck, he is the director tonight, using camera sets provided by, that was Track Cams Gourmets. If you want the home of iRacing custom track and car camera files, immerse yourself for more by visiting www.trackcams22.com. Road America, a 4-mile road course. Justin, you should know this all too well. We were just talking about your first experience. Tell the viewers of your knowledge of Road America and tell us about the track.
Well, Tanner, this is a fairly technical road course here, and I'm sure for a lot of guys really only experienced on oval, it's going to be quite the challenge for them. As you mentioned, 4 miles in length, 14 turns around here, and really with these cup cars, they have a lot of horsepower in the rear. You don't want to hit the gas too hard. Really sliding this car any around the corner, you're going to inflate those tires, and essentially they're going to be like balls. You're not going to have any grip, and it's going to be a very tough get around here, as you're just going to be sliding all over the place.
14 turns, a 4-mile road course. How come the Cup Series in real life does not come here? I'll never know, but the 3-Wide Racing does, because you are watching the 2018 RaceKings Cup Series of 3-Wide Racing live here on 3-Wide TV. As we talked about Road America now, let's talk about the drivers itself. I did mention Isentech Motorsports. They are a beast when it comes to road racing, and it's no surprise to me. Peter Short and Cameron Rich currently sitting upon the practice time boards right now, followed by some 303 drivers of Sam Close and Paul Ross. Just before we get to the point standings here, the drivers, the Isentech has been kind of dominating the season thus far. Peter Short winning the first 2 races, Cameron Rich winning the 3rd race of the season at Rockingham, and then finally we get a Rebel Racing driver back in victory lane at Bristol Motor Speedway 2 weeks ago of Levi Szalinski. And, you know, when I talk about Isentech Motorsport, who do you think will be the closest team or driver to challenge Rich or Short?
Well, tonight, I believe Levi Szalinski, last week's winner, as should mention all those races, or all these races so far, have been won in a Ford, so it's obviously a good time to be a Ford driver. But last time I was here, I know Levi Szalinski definitely had a good car. I believe he can definitely challenge for the win here, as well as Paul Ross. I'm pretty sure he's a really good road course ringer, as well as Sam Close. So most of the notables I expect to be up front here tonight.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about the championship point standings right now. Cameron Rich currently sitting on top of the championship board as he is in practice. Actually second in practice, but besides the point, he's got 181 total points. Second place, Sam Close, who just gained 3 spots 2 weeks ago at Bristol, but he's 18 points behind. Paul Ross sitting in third place in the points with 157. Fourth place, Johnny Thomas with 149 points. Levi Szalinski, that win at Bristol 2 weeks ago, jumped him 10 spots in the standings with a win on that win column. He's currently 5th with 145 points. Luis Samasso is currently in 6th in points with 141. Matt Hackathorn currently in 7th in points with 134 points. Mike Stevens, good consistent year so far for him, except Bristol. He actually got wrecked, but hopefully he doesn't wreck today. Currently sitting 8th in points with 133 points. Corey Lindsay sitting 9th in points with 131. And rounding out that top 10 is Mr. Peter Short. He did miss a couple of races, I do believe. Yes, he did. 2 races, so that's why he's back down there in 10th place in points. That's the top 10 in points here. What we got on camera going on here? Got just some good drivers coming down the straightaway here. Just trying to figure out what corners these are.
Turn 3, that would be.
That would be turn 3 going underneath the Sargento Bridge. Who are we on board with here? 46 car. That would be Kyle Hackshaw, right? That would be Kyle.
Heading into turn 5 there. This is a... Oh, actually, he's just going to completely miss that.
I love doing that if I mess something up.
Absolutely.
But you talk about that turn 5, though. What's so special about that corner?
Well, really, especially here in these Cup cars, with all the power they have in the rear end, it's going to be so easy to just want to hit the throttle there, possibly spin the car, get them loose, and really get those rear tires inflated. And again, mentioned before, do that, you're not going to have too much grip here. It's going to be 37 laps, so these guys are really going to have to manage these cars here tonight.
Oh man, 37 laps, yeah, you're not a kid. Managing your car is the big key thing when it comes to road racing. And the crazy thing is there's a caution. You're not going to get a normal full course caution like you would see on an oval track. Here it's more of a localized caution. A yellow flag will pop up on your display as you're driving, but that's just telling you that there's an incident ahead. Just be careful. Otherwise, we should not be seeing a caution tonight unless the race officials decide to throw one for a multi-car incident. There is not going to be a caution clock. There's not going to be a halfway caution or anything like that. These boys are racing to the end. There is a halfway bonus, however. You get a stage point, or playoff point, I should say, if you're leading that halfway part of the race. So that's very critical for the championship. I do believe the top 10 drivers will be getting paid at the halfway part of the race for their bonus points. So that's always a very good deal if you're struggling so far this season. Right now we got Nathan Velez going through turn 2. It looks like a straightaway, but the track still considers it a corner, so that's turn 2. Now he's headed down into turn number 3. And Road America, you know, I'll be honest here, Justin. I've actually, this track's taken a toll on me before, physically, not mentally, but physically, because of all the wheeling and dealing you are doing in these cars. Actually, at the time it was the B car, but nonetheless, it was a 40-lap race one time, and I was physically drained after this race. Road America's, it's a totally different animal than any other road course NASCAR really goes to, like Watkins Glen, Sonoma.
Oh, absolutely. I remember that, too. I think I was pretty sweaty by the end of it as well. And really, it just comes down to these cars, Tanner. I mean, it's so easy to get them tail happy. I mean, you're working the wheel left and right, as Levi just went off to. It's just so easy to lose control of the car. You're so on edge. We mention that every week at even an oval. It's, I feel like, magnified here at a road course.
Yeah, you know, I am probably the worst road course driver. That's just my opinion. I'm not very good at road courses, even though there's sometimes stats say otherwise, but my stats are very mediocre. So that just means I suck, but that's okay. But, you know, with these drivers here tonight, they go 37 laps. What's your pit strategy? Because that is a big key feature in these road races.
That's a great question, too, and I think it may come down to how you're feeling with the car, you know, tire-wise. Some drivers may base that off there, try and short pit it, maybe. I'm not sure exactly the fuel number here tonight, but 37 laps tonight, we mentioned already. It's going to be a very quick race, and I think it's going to be over before I even know it. So pit stop's definitely going to be a big factor here tonight. You see with the 48 there, that's the pit road right there. You're going to have to turn off, and you're still going at a high rate of speed up that hill, and pit road entry is going to be hitting you before you know it there.
Yeah, you know, I just wonder how much strategy is going to be involved when it comes to pitting, because you got that halfway bonus at lap 19, and we are using a 75% fuel load, so it's not a full fuel of every average NASCAR Monster Energy Cup car. It's 75% of that, so it's a smaller fuel cell. I want to say these guys are going to pit about lap 12. That's just my guess. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that's just a guess on my part. Right here we got, I believe this is Richard Hines? 7, Richard Hines. Going into the key leader.
And that's really just so another point to make. It's just so easy to feel like you have the corner locked down in terms of, you know, I think I'm going to make it, and then all of a sudden you're in the dirt. It can be very deceiving around here as well.
Well, these drivers are currently in a practice session right now. It's going to be wrapping up in about 20 seconds. Then we're going to start qualification. I do believe we have an onboard during qualifying, if I'm not mistaken, boys. To get an idea on how to get around Road America here, just to show the viewers. We'll
be riding around. But either, you know, if you're going to ride around with anybody, you might as well do it with, I'd have to say, the best road courses we're going to have, road course racers we're going to have here. Peter Short, Cameron Rich, those guys definitely know how to get around here. I know Cameron Rich ran the Mount Panorama truck race last week and won that. Not quite sure the margin, but I remember my last road course race with 3 wide, and the 17 of Cameron Rich won that by a pretty good margin.
I'd be able to tell you here in like 2 seconds on what was the margin of victory. That was by 27 seconds over Peter Short.
I'm telling you, man, these guys just have it locked down.
Yeah, Peter Short may have been. Let's whoever's on track actually for qualification. We'll go with at least one of the Eisentech guys.
Yeah,
the fastest.
Peter Short here. So he's just gonna. You see him. It looks like he's gonna take a slow lap around here. That's really just to make sure he doesn't abuse the tires on the warm-up lap here. And once he gets back to the start-finish line, I imagine that's when he's gonna put the foot to the floor.
Race officials have extended the qualification for these drivers, so that's a very good thing that they did that.
Yes.
Because this is a 4-mile road course that's going to take about 2 minutes and 13 seconds ish to get around this road course. So especially when you're not using the tires on your opening lap here, it's going to take a little time. So good, kudos. I tip my hat to the race officials for doing that.
Yeah, you absolutely were not going to make it 2 laps with 5 minutes. So as you said, a good call there. Again, he's just going to slowly make his way around the course. And,
right here. This is turn 6.
Yes, and going into turn 7 here, and then he'll get to the straightaway they call hurry downs. But once he gets to the start-finish line, I have to see what kind of lap he puts up. I think it was a... actually, I'll get a confirmation here. A 2:13.5 he ran in practice, so...
Going through turn number 8, then he's going to enter turns 9 and 10. After that, Speedville, Johnsonville is turns 9 and 10 called the Carousel. And this is a very feather in the throttle moment right here. And then you kind of got to power it down for the straightaway for getting close to the kink of turn number 11. As he's entering the kink right now. Yeah, that's a very fast corner right there.
Absolutely.
And now going down Kettle Bottoms into turn number 12, which is going to be a tight right-hander, very similar to turn number 5, except this is a right-hander right here. This is Canada corner of turn 12.
A very infamous corner if you're you know your way around here. I know it's definitely, when the Xfinity Series comes here, it's definitely quite the challenging corner. So he's going to come around turn 14. He'll go up the hill here, and he'll let him loose.
This is the Road America straightaway going up here and past this Caterpillar underpass right here is going to be the start-finish line. He's going to let her loose. This is his qualification lap right here. It is so critical to start up towards the front. The further you are to the front, the better the track position. Down into turn number 1 right here.
It looked like he braked at the second brake marker there. So into turn 1 through turn 2 into turn 3 here. This is another corner where it can be, you feel like you got it, and then all of a sudden you're in the grass. Really just, this whole track just waiting for you to get on the gas, and then he'll get into a very long straightaway once again here.
Yeah, this is actually considered a turn right here. Right underneath this bridge is considered turn number 4.
And then he'll head into turn number 5 here. This is definitely a corner where you do not want to get back on the gas as quickly as possible. Just kind of waiting on it. Feather the throttle a little bit. Don't spin the wheels off the corner. A little bit of spin there, but not too bad. Head into turn 6 here, a 90-degree corner.
Yep, and that turn 5 was a popular pass for an overtake too, so
absolutely.
Keep an eye on that. Right here, this is turn number 7. That's going to launch down at turn number 8. Turn number 8 is another corner that's very popular for attempting to try to overtake. But again, like you said, Justin, you can't document it enough. You got to be careful getting down on the power.
And the carousel, as you mentioned last lap, this is by far possibly the most difficult corner, and that's really because you think you're good enough to get back on the gas, but it's really just waiting for that car to get maybe about halfway, 3/4 to the corner there, and then you can get back on the gas. But it's going to be so easy to get back on the gas too early, and then all of a sudden you're in the sand trap.
And
the kink there.
Yep, that's a fast part of the racetrack because you're kind of just maybe possibly just lifting still for a little bit and getting back into the throttle. Now here's another popular overtaking corner right here. Turn number 12, Canada corner.
And you see a lot of runoff room there. I'm sure a lot of guys are going to be using all of that up. It's into turn 13 here. Back to 14. That was 13. Here comes 14. And then you're just powering up the big hill here onto the front straightaway. Already got some guys done with their qualifying laps here.
Alright, right, so now we'll see what Peter Rich is going to post as he come across the start-finish line.
And it will be a 2:13.4, so actually a tenth better than what he ran in practice. Very impressive.
Great camera angles there, right there. Good job, Carlos. And track cams Gourmet.
And one thing I think I want to point out here, our racer here in 3 wide, Race Clark, once told me to get around here, you got to go slow to go fast, and I think that's going to be so important to keep in mind here tonight. I think a lot of these guys are just going to be pushing it into each corner as far as they can go, and that's really not the way you're going to want to attack this track. It's just getting in the corners easily, getting off easily, and that's how you're going to be able to win here at Road America here tonight.
That's some pitch-perfect advice right there. You got to go slow to go fast.
And took that advice myself, ended up in victory lane, and I can tell you one thing, I'm not the greatest road course racer, but you run that strategy in your head, just making sure to discipline yourself, not to push it too far into the corners, and it'll be a great night for you.
Absolutely.
Watching Jordan Teal there, now the 17 of Cameron Rich, through turn 12 there. See what qualifying lap he's posted so far. This will actually be, I believe, his first lap.
Yep. I think he's gonna come either in second, or he's gonna beat Peter short. He might actually got into the grass there to where it's not gonna count the qualification time. We'll have to wait and see of timing and scoring when it comes across the line. The Boeing Ford for Eisenach Motorsports, second.
12:14.0, so about 6/10 off Peter Short here. See if he goes for another one.
Again, another driver who 2/10 quicker than his practice lap.
And one thing you had mentioned slightly before there, Tanner, you get an off track here, and it's not going to count. And if you do that 2 times a lap, all of a sudden you kind of just wasted about 8 minutes, or about 4 minutes.
Yeah. If anything you're getting out of it is just practice.
Absolutely.
All right, so practice is, qualification, less than about 2.5 minutes left. So far, 13 drivers have at least taken a qualification time. Eisenach Motorsports sitting on top of the board. And Levi Szalinski is not having a bad week so far this week. He is currently 4th in qualification. He was 6th in practice, so it's been a good top 10 day for him so far. Our Bristol winner from 2 weeks ago.
Let me tell you, his battle between me and him, I believe it was the 2016 season here in the B car, will be one I will never forget. It was he was quite the challenger there at the end, and definitely put a lot of pressure on, but able to hold him off. And again, one I'll never forget.
Yeah, I pushed Levi to a Daytona 250 win one season, so that was pretty cool. That was good for Levi. I had no choice but to push somebody.
He's definitely a good restrictor plate racer too. You know, he's really, I think he's starting to become really just an overall great racer at everywhere we go. Won at Bristol. You know, he's a pretty good short track racer. I don't believe... Actually, no, I'm not quite sure where he finished at Atlanta, but I believe it was a pretty good finish.
Well, I'll pull up the Levi stats so far this season here. It just takes me 2 seconds here.
Our own Larry McReynolds here.
Yeah, to do it. I mean, he scored his first top 10 at Rockingham. So, okay. And then he won Bristol. But he led his first laps of the season at Bristol, so...
And just see there a hard hit with Chad Brown, as we mentioned. Just so easy to lose the rear end of these cars.
Oh, man, yeah. Man, I tell you what, I think the weather, too. The weather today, it's not bad outside, but that track temperature is 100 degrees out, so it's fairly decent. It's not the worst, but as far as trying to get the throttle down, especially if you're wearing on the tires, you know, you're losing the rear grip. The traction's not there. Wind too. The wind is probably blowing the cars around just a little bit too.
Yep. And I think that's just going to be the word of the night: traction. It's just going to be the question of how much traction you have at the end, who will most likely decide this winner.
8 seconds and counting until qualification is done, so I think it could be safe to say to probably go to the grid, and we can talk about the race details here. So yes, sir, it is time to grid up. Drivers are getting their last drinks in and probably using the bathroom before they get racing here. It's 37 laps. It's going to be a long race for some, and a really long race for the guys who might have trouble, but let's go to the grid here. Mr. Peter Short, our road course fanatic here in 3 wide, is currently sitting on the pole, so congratulations to Peter in the Mike's Hard Lemonade Ford for Eisentech Motorsports. Cameron Rich for Eisentech is going to start in second. For 3OG, Mr. Samuel Close, and Levi Szalinski in fourth. Jordan Teal rounding out the top 5. Good qualification effort on Jordan Teal. Mr. Paul Ross is going to start in 6th. Matt Hackathorn is going to start in 7th. Nathan Velez in 8th. Michael Skinner in 9th. And rounding out the top 10, Johnny Thomas. You can take it there, Justin.
Yes, sir. Mike Stevens is going to start 11th there in the 63. Kyle Hanshaw 12th. Wade Lear starting 13th. Chad Brown will start 14th. And Richard Lafferty going to start 15th. And let's see here. Louis Tomaso going to start 16th. Rusty Webb 17th. Dylan Hickey 18th. Cody Wright 19th. And Corey Lindsay going to round up top 20 there. And just a quick note, only the top 15 took a time in qualifying.
Yeah, Richard Hines is going to start in blackjack position. That's 21st. And Nick Miller rounding out the rear of the field today. All right.
22 cars here tonight. It's a
good showing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of the drivers in the league. I'm talking the whole entire league, not just the series. The whole entire league, there's drivers that are just not road course fanatics. And I'm going to tell you what. I am not. I actually skipped Mount Panorama last week, aka I think that's Bathurst. So I skipped it, and I will not be racing Eldora this week at all. But I will be back at Iowa, and I actually got an announcement for paint scheme wise in the upcoming week regarding some activities that I got going on. But anyways, enough of that. Track details this evening tonight. The RaceKings Cup Series drivers are going to be racing for 37 laps. The race to the halfway bonus is at lap 19. So it could be a battle with the Eisentech guys. The battle for that lap 19 or pit strategy could come involved. You'll never know. Maximum fuel stint is 75% fuel load. I'm going to go on a limb and say that it's about 12 laps. That's just, I guess. I do not have that accurate information. But there is a 11-lap park rule. That is, the rule is 6-11. So if you are down 11 laps, you will be officially parked from this event.
And with it being a road course, see a little bit of a different pace car in front of the field there. I believe that's a rough there. How you pronounce it? Yeah. Did they change it to Porsche?
Was it to Porsche? It could be. It's either a rough or a Porsche.
I'm gonna put my money down and say that's a rough. I don't think they changed it out to a Porsche. I know they had it before the Porsche
I
was
think it's
on
a
iRacing.
rough because I'm seeing rough right on the front end of the race car or the pace car. All right, well, pace car, you're not going to be out there all night long. You're actually going to have too much of a break here tonight.
Actually, probably the only time he's going to be out on track.
Unless we see a multi-car incident, I think racing officials will throw that.
Yeah, because there's just so much off-track room.
And a 3-wide racing league is actually averaging, because they've only raced here at this racetrack in the NASCAR Xfinity cars, which is the B-class cars here on iRacing. So, and this is the first time the 3-wide racing league is using the Cup cars at Road America. So, with that being said, and they've averaged about only one caution per race, but in the past the league has done a caution clock and a halfway caution, but there will be none of that tonight.
Absolutely. And it's, we may see these Eisentech guys pull out to a little lead there, but I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of battling throughout the field here. And you mentioned earlier, Tanner, for some of these guys who aren't as confident on the road course stuff, it's going to be quite the long night for them tonight. But if they can just get through here tonight with a decent finish, I think they're going to be pretty okay.
I want to see who's gonna give. I'm gonna give it a hard charger award. It's free. I don't have any iRacing credits for anybody or anything like that. But I'll call at the end of the race and see who's the hard charger of the evening, because that's what I'm curious to see as well. Other than probably the Eisentech guys up front, I'm curious to see how the 3OG boys are gonna do. How's our defending race winner gonna do, Mr. Levi Szalinski? All those questions will be answered here very shortly. And coming to the green here, Justin, I'll let you take the green flag, since we're probably only going to see this first and final start, or restart. It's actually start of the race, but I don't think we're going to see a caution here, so I guess I'll let you bring them to the green.
Alrighty, well, just through Canada corner there, turn number 12. Going to go through the slight S's here, 13 and 14. And, some guys chose to go through those corners single file just to make it a little bit easier. But as you mentioned, going to be the one and only time I believe that this field is going to be this bunched up. Have to see how pit strategy plays out here, but the pace car is going to go up the hill, the pit roadway there, as they climb the hill, getting ready to take the green flag here under the Caterpillar sign. Green flag is out, and we're away here at Road America. Going to be pretty interesting to see how they get through turn 1 here. Can be pretty dicey going side by side through the corner, but let's see if they make it here. Peter Schick going to have the preferred line there into 1. And going to have the edge, I believe, out of turn 2 there. Ooh, Cameron Rich a little bit loose there. And entering 3, he's actually going to cross under the 22 there. And will take the lead, entering 3.
Oh!
Probably put the power down just a little bit too much there. Got the rear end loose, but he was able to save it. And they're going to head down turn 4 there and into the long straightaway into turn 5.
Man, Cameron Rich, really wants a race lead. He's still sideways, even going down the straightaway before he even reached the turn number 5 here. This is the critical corner of the racetrack. Who's going to overshoot it? So far, everybody's getting through it nice and cleanly. Nicely done by everybody else here in the opening laps on turn number 5. Now the race leader is actually down into turn number, I believe that's 7, going down into turn 8.
And it looked like through turn 5 there, Cameron may have possibly missed the line a little bit, or protecting that line just a little bit. Saw him about middle groove there. But getting through it pretty cleanly. So, oh, the 22 real sideways into the carousel. Got that rear end kicking out quite a bit there. Out of the line just a little bit.
Oh, we got a red car in the back.
The 33.
Yeah, that's
Jordan Teal.
He's
going to have to wait for everybody to go by.
A lot of positions cost for Jordan Teal right now. Those tires are pretty dirty, but I'm sure when he gets back on track and gets going, all that dirt's going to wipe right off the tires, going through the kink right now. So good save on Jordan Teal's part. Lost a lot of positions, at least 5 positions.
Yeah, that was actually getting back on track there. It's very high-speed part of the track there, but everyone was able to make it by cleanly. And it looks like Cameron Rich, into 14 here, he's going to lead lap number 1.
Oh, trouble. Number 38, Cody Wright is around after, I believe, Canada corner, turn 12.
Yes, sir. Missing the hood there now. A lot of front end damage to that 38.
Oh, very unfortunate for Cody. He just got the power, as you said, he got the power down, and it just went right around.
Yeah, here's the replay. Oh, yeah, just... You know, I kept mentioning it. It's just so deceiving. You think you got it, hit the power down just a little bit too much, and the rear end kicks out on you. But he's going to keep it going here.
A long night for some of these guys here this evening. Mainly, I am counting currently right now. Not the top 19 drivers currently still keeping it intact right now. So good for them. There is a battle going on between, I think, the 64 of Chad Brown and the number 91 of rookie Dylan Hickey back there. Everybody remains single file. Trying to see
some front end damage on Dylan Hickey there. I believe he got into the 64 or the 38, excuse me. Yeah.
Ooh.
Let's see if that hurts him too much here.
I think he should be okay, but I wouldn't get any more damage than that. Again, we have seen Cameron or other drivers like Paul Ross without a hood that look like a modified, driving around like, nothing happened.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt too much aero, but definitely don't want to hurt that suspension. Then it's going to be a very long night for some of these guys. Oh, there, the 63 didn't look like he got out at turn 7 quite as good. Or was it turn 8 quite as good as the 33 there of Jordan Teal. Jordan saw off track there on lap 1. He's trying to get some of these positions back.
Yeah, Jordan Teal, man, I tell you what, he's, gotta pull my time scoring. 0.6 of a second off the racing lead, Peter Short is. But Jordan Teal, yeah, where is he? He's back in 11th now.
Well, some of those guys take a somewhat interesting line into Canada Corner. You really want to get as wide as you can and then arc it down in to get a good turn in and get out of the corner well. Like some of those guys are about middle groove there. Oh, someone's turned around. It's the 03 of Wade Lear.
Oh,
and came in the corner. I think he's going to wait for everyone to go by. Yes, he will. And I don't see any front end damage.
So far, turn 12, Canada Corner has been the calamity corner this evening. That's 2 incidents in that corner tonight.
I think he really got rear end damage, it looked like. Got the power down just a little bit too hard. Rear end kicked out. And then swung it back. Got some trees in the way there, but...
Not really any heavy damage on Wade Lear's car, though.
No, surprisingly. But he's going to keep going there, and I think... Again, I think it was just more... If he hit the tire buried at all, it was the rear end, so...
Oh, number 9, Nick Miller, he's having trouble. Just had trouble coming. That's turn number 1. I think it was a little bit of an off track. Overshot the corner just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit there, so briefly. Here's a replay. Yeah, a little bit too hot there. You see him locking up the brakes. Again, it's so easy to just go as hard as you can in each corner, but you're going to have to really take it easy around this track.
Pretty cool. There isn't really any side-by-side battling going on, but there might be one brewing up back here. Levi Szalinski last time by, or Sam Close, no, there was no position change there. But these 3 drivers are really close to each other. Szalinski, Ross, and Close. And actually, Szalinski actually did get around Sam, so that would have been a battle for 3rd.
Yeah, and Peter Short up front, not really letting Cameron Rich get away too far. He actually closed up the gap a little bit there into Canada Corner. Didn't seem like Cameron really got the good line into it. But closed up just a little bit. Now he's going to start to pull away through 13 and 14 here.
That's actually the closest battle on track that I'm currently seeing. Nobody else is real. Oh, we got trouble on way in the back. It's actually Cody Wright. Hard.
Oh, once again. Oh, yeah. Now he's got no front end, and you know what? I don't know if modifieds will handle quite as well here, but see here the replay through the kink.
Man, he really
just carried too much speed through the kink there. Hit the wall and then hard into the inside or the right side wall there.
That was a vicious hit.
Absolutely, but he's going to get it going again.
Got a couple of good battles kind of brewing up here.
Oh,
They're not side by side, but here's the 2 battles about the name. Battle for the race lead has shrunk here. It's getting closer and closer between Short and Rich. The other one is for 3rd between Szalinski, Close, and Ross. So those are the 2 battles that they're not side by side, but they're close enough that they could battle.
And I did see Paul. Yep, he's
yeah.
But Paul didn't get into turn 5 very well. You could see really got his entry jacked up there and through the middle of the corner, all the way up to that high side. He lost a lot of time to Sam Close.
Good, yeah, that allowed Hackathorn to catch up to him just a little bit, so we could be seeing 3 battles eventually. Maybe we'll have to see.
Oh, and the battle for the lead. Here comes the 22 of Peter Short there. Thought about diving it in there, as you mentioned, Tanner, a pretty popular passing spot there, but now they're going to go through the carousel, and it's interesting to see the difference in line between the 2.
Would you roughhouse your teammate for the race lead here?
Well, you know, I wouldn't put it past it, but we are on lap 4, so I think it's a little bit too early to start getting racy here with your teammate. Oh, wow.
Oh,
saw that
Rich.
Cameron Rich really used up all that curbing there in the kink.
Man, left, right, man. one of the hardest working guys in three-wide racing when it comes to handling a race car like that. Oh, man.
Rich really defensive into turn 12 there.
Man, Pete, did you see Peter Short's hands left, right when he got on the brakes? That thing just wanted to go right around. Oh, we got trouble. Levi Szalinski's off track.
And now Paul Ross right in the back.
Yeah. He overshot turn 12.
Oh, and now he's going to lose it. Turn 13. Oh, what a shame. He's going to keep it going. Not going to lose too much time.
The Bristol winner from 2 weeks ago. Oh, right up in traffic here. Jordan Teal. And I believe that's Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas was forced to go a little bit wide there.
That messed up Thomas.
That's going to allow Mike Stevens to catch up and get by the 83 there. Well, Tanner, the only good thing that Levi has going for him right now, we're only on lap 5 here, so still a long ways to go. Maybe with some good pit strategy, he could put himself back in this ball game.
Man. Yeah, Szalinski was having a great run too, man, but he's going to fall back. I'm counting 9th.
Yeah, all the way back to 9th. So that's unfortunate, but could have been a lot worse there.
Oh, something happened to Kyle Henshaw? Yes, it did.
Yeah, he's got no front end now.
Another modified.
Well, obviously, he must have lost it somewhere around this racetrack.
Turn 14, and he just decided to stick it to pit road.
I know he's stopped on pit road for a second. They're not quite sure, but there you go. The battle for the lead there between teammates here. I saw how close they were getting, and Tanner, I'm really surprised that I'm seeing Cameron Rich being so defensive this early.
Gotta be. I mean, you're just trying to protect him, but there's a little battle going on right now between Szalinski and Jordan Teal back here. That would be a battle for 8th.
And Szalinski gets it from Teal.
Well, yeah, that race lead. Yeah, Cameron Rich, he knows. I think I don't want to. I think I could be stating this wrong. I think Cameron Rich knows that Peter Short's just a little faster, and he knows there goes Rich. He got on the brakes, almost snapped loose.
Little dirt there, but able to hold it.
But I think track position is so important here. If you can keep the race lead, you got all that clean air right there. You know, it is just so important. I cannot stress that enough to keep the race lead. And on top of that, you want the halfway bonus for the championship.
And I think maybe another key thing here, you know, these guys are two of the best road course racers here in the league. You don't know if you're Cameron Rich, if you're going to get another chance to get by Peter Short with, you know, how good they are. So
already pulled 6.5 seconds on third place, Sam Close.
And then he has about 3 seconds on Paul Ross. So definitely getting spread out here early, which was at least what I thought was going to be the case here tonight, but do have some good battle. Oh,
Nick Miller's around.
Look like another problem with the kink for these drivers. I believe he's smoking. Yeah, he's going to stop and take it off.
I'll tell you what, I really thought turn 5 was going to be a problem for drivers tonight, but I was wrong.
Yeah, the kink, as you saw there, again, another driver just carrying far too much speed through it.
Battle for the race lead is really brewing up. I tell you what, it is there. Peter Rich is just not giving up, even despite the car being loose. He's going to go for it down in turn 8.
Pulled out at the last second there.
I wonder if handling had anything to do with him pulling out like that.
Maybe he thought, too, just a bit too late to try and pull that move in the corner. He was maybe a good car length back, so, you know, sometimes you have to think about making moves and, you know, jeopardizing a teammate there.
Tell you what, my best description on these Cup cars here, you know, from my experience in 3-wide racing league, is driving these Cup cars is like dancing with a chainsaw.
Well, our producer did point out that, and we can see it here too, that Cameron Rich definitely a good bit looser than Peter Short, and I think that all comes down to, I think Cameron, as you can see, still loose. He's obviously in the lead. I think just pushing it a bit too hard here, trying to stay in front of his teammate, and obviously losing grip pretty quickly here.
Yeah, do you think you can tires really quick. Oh, man, he got really loose. Peter Rich lost a little time. But do you think playing defensively can really burn off your tires?
Oh, absolutely. You know, you get on that gas just a little bit quicker than you need to, build up that tire pressure, all of a sudden, mentioned it before, you have basketballs for tires, and it can be make for quite the long night as Peter Short's going to overshoot turn 1 there. A little bit of dirt. Lost about a second there. Now he's going to have his work cut out for him.
Yeah, this is going to be the challenge for Peter Short right now.
And Tanner, I think this is really going to be the test of how good that 22 car is compared to the 17 of Cameron Rich here tonight. Is he a good bit faster? We're going to have to see here.
We'll have to wait and see here. The last time the Cup Series in the 3-Wide Racing League went to a road course, guess who won it? Your race leader, Cameron Rich.
Absolutely.
At Watkins Glen, he beat his teammate, Peter Short. Peter Short overshot turn 1 on the last lap, which allowed Rich to overtake, but they both led almost the same amount of laps at Watkins Glen last season. So it's practically the Peter Short and Cameron Rich road course thing, but Peter Short trying to regain that little bit of a revenge spot on Rich, even though you hate being mean to your teammate.
Well, one thing I noticed there, by the way, just real quick with Paul Ross, I don't know if we definitely caught it there on camera. The rotor is already glowing on that 18 car. I honestly did not know iRacing added that in, but that's actually a really cool feature there. But shows you definitely how hard he's working too.
You know,
that brake.
I knew that they added it in. I just totally forgot that they were even there. But yeah, Paul Ross is really hard on the brakes. Good thing we don't have brake failures on the iRacing simulator, otherwise there would be problems.
And we see the battle for the lead brewing once again. Peter Short definitely has caught back up to his teammate Cameron Rich here. But the interesting thing here is that Peter Short, last time around, was 10th, or Cameron Rich was 10th further to Peter. Have to see this time around with fairly clean track for Peter.
2:17,
still 10th behind.
46.8 for Cameron Rich, 2:17.5. So Rich was actually a 10th quicker. Man, but I tell you what, Peter Short's just there.
Little Lucifer.
You got trouble?
I'm telling you. Cameron Rich just... his car is just really having a handful right now. It's loose at almost every corner there.
Well, I know we're excited about the race lead here. I kind of want to go back here for Velez just got around Hackathorn. I didn't want to interrupt you there, Justin. But off of turn number 3, I believe, or turn 2 or turn 3, whatever it was, Nathan Velez just went around Matt Hackathorn for 5th. So put Velez in the top 5 now. Velez having a good showing. Hopefully I don't curse him. And right now I'm already cursing him because he's snappy loose off of turn 5.
I think he's a pretty good road course racer as well. Kind of a guy you don't really talk too much about on a road course, but I definitely believe he deserves more credit than he gets. Another thing to note, Matt Hackathorn currently 6th. Didn't think of him as too much of a good road course racer, but definitely a really good showing from him here tonight. Oh, Peter Short just about lost it out of the kink there. I'm not sure how he saved that car, but he about went off.
Tell you what, who's driving it? Who's driving it the hardest? Rich or Short? I think Short is actually now.
Well, yeah, at this point, I had to make up all that ground, and he's definitely done it, so...
Oh, man, he's slow coming out of turn 13 there. And it's only lap 8.
Yeah,
I know we're getting excited here, but...
Oh, I heard someone off track there. It's the 48 of Nathan Velez. Lost it and came to the corner there. Went off track. Possibly too much speed carrying into that corner.
See what I did? Here. I cursed him.
I think we just have to keep our mouths shut, Tanner. It's the broadcaster's curse. Yeah, just too much speed there. But luckily did not hit the wall there and just kept it going.
All that work. Oh, Jordan Teal's around. Big accident. Oh, there's an accident down in turn 12 there, and almost hitting Hines.
But somehow I don't see a lot of damage on that 33 car.
Man, it's not like twice now he's done that, and he didn't get really any damage.
Oh.
He did make contact, but it's not serious damage.
Peter Short actually went around in turn number 1 here. I don't think we caught that.
Peter Short?
Take a look here.
Oh, no.
Way too much speed in turn 1. Lost it. Oh, wow.
Battle for the race lead that was, and he actually really dove in there. I think there was maybe slight was there contact with the race leader, though?
No, the 22... I don't know if he missed his brake marker or what, but we were so caught up with the 33 and the 87 there. And he was action all over the track.
Man, the Mike's Hard Lemonade's, it wants to lead, but it just can't get the lead.
Again, I'm not sure if he missed his brake marker or what, but definitely far too much speed in there. Lost it, hit his teammate there.
He's still sliding right now. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that slide just absolutely killed his tires.
Well, that's going to drop Short into 3rd place. Sam Close has taken 2nd place over.
And now he's 10 seconds behind, too, so I think at this point, he's just kind of banking on that first pit stop.
Banking on that first pit stop, praying for the first caution.
Unfortunately, I think for him, praying on something that unfortunately won't come, but I know he has a lot of good speed, so maybe get some fresh tires, see if he can't work his way back up. But he's actually getting pressured here from Paul Ross there for the 3rd position. But I think at this point, just going to have to, take it easy a little bit. Don't hurt the tires any more than you have. See, he does have some damage. Oh, he's off track just a little bit again, but does have some right side damage from hitting his teammate Cameron Rich there. I saw Cameron had some left side damage as well in the rear end. Not a whole lot, but definitely cosmetic.
Absolutely. So since we're on lap 9 right now, I want to put you in a perspective of somebody here within the top 10. Let's put you in Levi Szalinski's shoes for a minute here for Rebel Racing there, Justin. If you were Levi, you're sitting 7th right now, and I don't know when you got to pit, but would you want to try to short pit it, or do you want to try that, run that thing as long as you can, and then pit? I mean, what do you think your strategy would be if you were in that situation back there in 7th?
I think maybe, again, not sure the pit strategy, but maybe try and pit maybe a lap or 2 earlier, get ahead of those, or get fresher tires from those leaders, and just see what kind of lead you can get, or see if you make up any ground, and that kind of will determine your pit strategy the rest of the race, I believe. See what kind of pace you have compared to these leaders, and see, what ways you can make ground. Maybe pit a little bit earlier the next next pit stop. Maybe just take a little bit less fuel, quicken up that pit stop. But definitely think that last pit stop, whenever it will be. I'm not sure if they're going to have 2 or 3 here tonight, but I believe you're going to want to take maybe as much fuel as you think you believe you need, just to try and quicken up that pit stop the best you can.
Good information right there. No battles on track.
The 18 of Paul Ross there, saw barely caught that. A little bit too much speed there through the kink. Didn't hit the wall, but definitely got some dirt on them tires.
If there's a close enough battle... Oh, we got a battle?
Yep, Peter Short just went off and canned at a corner there.
Oh, Peter.
Her tire is squealing just a little bit there, and I think, yeah, he's definitely hurting for grip right now. He cannot wait. Oh, yep, and turn 14 there. Still sliding, still hurting, so...
From that, he's got some right front damage. Oh, wait, he's almost spinning it. That right front damage, I think, came from Cameron Richards' left rear quarter panel when he got into Cameron. And Cameron, I'm not seeing any damage on his car, though. But there is definitely contact for sure. And that's the only contact that he's really made all race for Peter Short. Very minor damage on Cameron Richards I'm getting a report on right now.
I believe Kyle Hanshaw has just gone off in the kink once again. He's actually last car, or excuse me, he's 2 laps down at the moment, but it seems like a bad night gone to worse for Kyle, unfortunately. And Levi Szalinski's actually spun around on the front straightaway here. Oh my goodness.
Oh no!
He's going to have to wait for an opening, I believe, to try and get spun back around. See what happened here. That's a really odd place to spin out.
On a straightaway. Did he clip the grass, though?
Oh, he did. I don't think maybe he was not... Maybe he wasn't paying attention, and 2 incredibly hard hits to the inside and the outside wall. What a heartbreaker.
That little clip in the grass got that car out of whack.
And unfortunately, that's all it takes here. Really anywhere, but he's going to pull it off in the grass. That's going to be a tough break for him tonight. Was running 7th, now 16th.
I gotta stop talking about these drivers. Everyone I've talked about, really, I've cursed.
Yeah, the unfortunate broadcaster's curse. Very
all right,
unfortunate.
everybody's all fanned out. Oh, Levi's on the
yeah,
track
he's just
again.
missed it again. He's going to hit the wall. I believe he has suspension damage at this point. I'd have to believe.
He knocked the toe out.
As hard as he hit those walls, definitely had to hurt something in that suspension.
There's a little battle brewing back here between Salmasso and Thomas. Salmasso just got around Johnny Thomas for a top 10 spot. So Thomas gave it to Salmasso this time. I'll get you later there.
Yeah, you're a little better right now. We'll see if I can get you back later. Maybe at this point, Thomas just kind of managing his car. Don't want to push it too hard here.
Levi Szalinski again, turn number 5. He's towed it.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. Well, unfortunately, will not be
we got a battle
back-to-back
here.
wins.
Paul Ross, Peter Short. Not side by side, but Ross is caught short.
Yeah, with all the problems Peter's having right now with handling, you can see just how much that rear end is wiggling.
Down in turn 3.
And really, that just goes all the way back to the slide he had in entering turn 1 there. Really, you just lose all grip once you slide those tires, and obviously it's really hurting him right now. See if he puts too much of a fight with Paul Ross here.
Well, he put up a lot of fight trying to get that race lead of Cameron Rich, and that actually bit him big time. That actually cost him a few positions on the a position on the track.
And you saw how loose he got out of 5 there.
Yeah.
You know, if I was Peter at this point, I think I may just want to let Paul go and just really at this point kind of take care of the car. You don't want to spin it anymore. Don't want to lose more time than you have to. Just take care of it and get to that first pit stop. Get your 4 fresh tires, and then go attack again.
Well, according to my information here, this is actually the closest battle on the racetrack. So I guess we could try leave it on Short and Ross.
I believe, I believe Richard Hines is actually, Richard Hines, Wade Lear, making their first pit stops. Don't know if they have. Nope, they do not have any damage. So a little bit of short pitting here, possibly.
Short pitting indeed.
This is actually the lap you called, Tanner. So see if these leaders come by and take their pit stop.
Don't ask how I actually didn't even know that what the fuel window was.
You know, that would have been that probably would have been my guess as well. So Cameron a little bit,
and the Cup cars don't even go to Road America, so it was just a guess.
Yeah, Cameron a little bit loose as well, but definitely not as loose as his teammate, the 22 Peter Short. As
coming in.
Well, Tanner,
I did it! Oh my gosh, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Coming to take lap 13 here, so on the money there.
Damn close. We see the first lead change of the night. Actually, no, second. Wouldn't that be the second lead change? Because that'd be... No, yeah, because Short never led a lap yet, as opposed to Short's on pit road.
He's in pit road and obviously really needed it. He'll get those 4 fresh tires, get fueled up, and go on the attack once again.
Man, I flipped that Bristol. Oh, we got trouble? Oh, the 17 overshot it. Pit stall.
That's going to take a chunk out of his lead a little bit. Once we get all reordered here.
Yeah, we got more drivers on pit road, too. That's going to consist, well, Cameron Rich is gone. Peter Short was on the pit road. Hackathorn is on the pits. Velez is in pits. Stevens is in pits. Skinner's in pits. Practically the top 10 are in pits with the exception of Johnny Thomas, Paul Ross, and Sam Close. Richard Lafferty and Chad Brown, that's it. Those are the drivers that have yet to make a pit stop.
And that may just, some guys may be trying to stay out longer than some, but that definitely shows that that's probably going to be a two-pit strategy here tonight. See if they can make it to the end. It's probably going to be a lap close. A lap or two. We did see Sam Close stay out, so obviously a little bit of strategy by him. Imagine he'll bring it down this time, though.
Closest battle I'm putting on record. They're not side by side, but it would be Mike Stevens and Mike Skinner.
I'm seeing two.
8th and 9th, so maybe have to keep an eye on that. But I'm still trying to keep an eye on whether Sam Close or Paul Ross are going to come down pit road. Sam Close would probably be the first one to tell, obviously, since he's going down in turn number 14. Right here, let's see if he hits the pits.
And he does, so have to imagine Paul Ross is going to do the same as well.
Yep, he will.
So that's going to cycle the lead back to Cameron Rich. Peter Short, 8 seconds behind, so be very interesting to see, both on equal tires, if Peter Short can make that lead back, or get back to the lead here, or at least fight for it.
Alright, well, Sam Close is just about to his pit stall here. 35 miles an hour, I believe, is pit road speed. Cameron Rich is already off of turn number 14. Close is already into his pit box. Left side's going to go up first.
And I believe Sam Close was about 10 seconds back, so we'll have to see before these pit stops started. So let's see what the distance is going to be here, or the gap.
Oh, we got a heavy battle back here. Michael Skinner and I believe that's Stevens. Oh. Contact.
Oh, the 8 and the 15 are going to go off in turn number 12. And the 8's in the wall. Into the tire barrier there. Don't see too much damage.
Oh, man, good thing we caught right at the exact moment there, Justin.
Absolutely. Yeah, just too much speed on that 8. The 15 there, it looked like he was just kind of stuck on the outside of the 63 there. Maybe Mike braked just a little bit too early. Have to see.
Well, actually, he was really door-to-door with Stevens, and Stevens was probably the most conservative one out of all three of them.
Just saw there, just a little bit too much speed in there for Michael. So Michael was Skinner, excuse me.
Oh, what happened to Johnny Thomas? Oh, he's pitting. Whoops, my bad. I was just about to say, what the heck happened to Johnny Thomas? But never mind, he's pitting.
He's going to go all the way back to 12th, so maybe on a little bit different strategy than these leaders here.
Well, that was, okay, so the 22 Peter Short was about 12 seconds prior to the green flag pit stops. He's now cut that down into
about 9 seconds. 8.8 is what I'm showing. And then Sam Close looks like about 13 seconds.
Well, here's the kicker, though. Cameron Rich had a 15.7 second pit stop, along with accidentally overshooting the pit box just ever so slightly. 15.7 compared to Peter Short's right on the dot, 14.6.
And I am seeing that gap between the 17 and the 22 slowly getting smaller.
This race ain't over. It is not over yet. Short's got something to say about this win.
Oh, absolutely. And we got another pit stop coming up. Don't forget.
Yep. Well, that was, what, 13 laps, am I correct?
Yes, about 13, so expect them back about 26, 27 maybe.
We're not going to really see a fuel mileage race then. Nonetheless, kind of looking at my map here to see an overhaul of the track to see if there's any battles. There is a battle going on right back there between Velez and Stevens. Stevens actually just got around Velez. So Mike Stevens having a good showing today. Good job on Mike Stevens here.
Absolutely.
He's top 10 in points, and he's running 7th. Maybe a win is not there in the books at a road course today. But I tell you what, Stevens is going to have to be pretty happy if he comes out here with a top 10 finish. Actually, he's right now in 6th. So
just outside that top 5, and I think really what he's doing was taking the advice I gave earlier. Just be slow to be fast. Don't take it too hard into each corner. Definitely being, you can see they're a little bit conservative with their braking, but that's what I think is really helping Mike Stevens right now. Oh, he's actually, yeah, I
Mike,
think
I did it. Oh my gosh, Tanner.
I don't know if he was trying to get out of Velez's way there and just kind of didn't know how much wheel he was giving it, but that was quite interesting. I didn't see the rear end get loose at all. Oh, well.
Much beans on that. Yeah, thank you, Director. Too much of that. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry, Mike. I cursed you.
Well, I know that you get to a point, when your tires get too wore out, that even if you give it a little bit of gas, it can still...
Oh, Peter Short! Sideways! Dirt tracking it! Oh, man.
Turn number 12.
Yeah! Man, what a save, though. He's driving the wheels off that thing.
I was going to say, as our director just pointed out, I don't see him with any time loss there.
Got to the corner really hard, though, too. And he was like left, right with that wheel. He clipped that grass area down there.
And that's how he knows he has work to do, so...
Ay caramba.
And,
what happened to Johnny Thomas? Johnny Thomas is off track.
Flo entering the carousel there. Let's see what happened.
Actually, yeah, that's down by turn 8. I think he just overshot the corner just a little bit, got into the key leader.
Well, a little bit loose in turn 7. Maybe just overshot it in turn 7. Yep, just overshot. You could see the brakes locking up there. I think he got into the dirt, maybe just a little bit as well into the kink. Maybe he was just kicking up some dirt, perhaps.
All right. Well, everybody's practically sorted out right now. I'm not seeing any good battles on here. Let's kind of take the time to go through the top 10 right now here. So far, currently, Cameron Rich has been dominating this race. He really raced aggressive on lap 1 to take the race lead away from Peter Short. So Rich is now out front, and he's commanded the lead ever since. Peter Short has had an eventful race after starting on the pole, a little slip and slide here and there, spinning out, and still remaining in second. Dirt tracking it and still trying to fight that car and still trying to hunt down Cameron Rich. Can he be the guy to beat Rich today? So far he's trying, but he's got to do it from 9 seconds back. Third place, Samuel Close. Haven't talked about Sam too much today. That's just because he started third, currently in third, and he's been very consistent and very using that race advice from Mr. Race Clark, slow is fast, because he has not really been driving the wheels off that number 5 whatsoever. He's just been running his race. He's consistently in third. Same thing goes with fourth place, Paul Ross. Paul Ross, haven't talked about him too much. Seen him battle here and there, but not aggressively. Paul Ross has been playing a little conservative after started 6th today. His teammate is just ahead of him in third, so 3OG really trying to drive their race today to see what's all happening. And so far, it's working, and they could give him a top 5 finish. Matt Hackathorn started 7th, going through the turn 12 in Canada corner. Currently in the top 5. Again, we have not talked about Hackathorn too much today. He's practically in the same boat as the 3OG boys. So far, that number 44 is remaining strong, and that number 44 Toyota, as I said, it goes right off the racetrack. Oh boy. Well, he still remains in the top 5. Mr. Nathan Velez has got damage, but still remaining in the top 10, currently in 6th. So far, putting on a good showing for him after a couple dents here. Actually, there's a heavy right front damage here. I wonder where he got that from. Nonetheless, that Oakland Raiders number 48 Ford is currently in 6th. Michael Skinner, haven't talked about him too much today as well. In that number 15 NOS Energy Chevrolet, currently in 7th. Mike Stevens, I cursed you earlier today after you were just running 6th, but hey, guess what? He started outside the top 10. He started in 11th, currently in 8th. He's top 10 in points. He still wants to get a top 10 finish, maybe more, by the end of the day. So Mike Stevens is currently on the go in that Coors Light Toyota Camry. 9th place, Jordan Teal had a rough start. Started in the top 5, had a couple spins here and there. Still remaining in the 9th position right now. So Jordan Teal hoping for a top 10 finish today despite all the incidents right now. And behind him, just coming off turn number 1, going through turn 2, is Levi Szalinski. Usually we see him a front runner in the top 10. Today he started 16th. He's gained 6 spots since the start, and he's cracked the top 10 right now for 3OG Racing. Biggest mover of the race, number 87, Richard Hines, I am showing right now. Started 21st, up in 12th. So far, he's a pretty clean car on the number 87 American Cancer Society Ford Fusion.
Currently have 6 cars off track and out of the race. 16 cars still on. Wade Lear is going to be the first one in that 03 with Levi Szalinski, Nick Miller, Cody Wright, Rusty Webb, and Corey Lindsay, who believe we got word before that he was a starting park here tonight.
And there is a 6-11 rule, which means if you go down 11 laps, you will be officially parked for this event.
14 cars currently on the lead lap. Just have Chad Brown 1 lap down and Kyle Hanshaw 2. So I believe the rest possibly have a bit too much damage to keep going here.
Not really any battles going on the racetrack. The only battle I'm indicating that is the closest battle on track is between the number 33 of Jordan Teal in 9th and Luis Salmaso in 10th. That is the closest on track. Actually, no, there's a lap car in front of Paul Ross, so that ain't going to be too much of a factor. Otherwise, that battle back there for 9th will probably be the closest at the moment.
And one thing to note, I'm not sure when it happened, maybe Cameron made a small mistake here up front, but Peter Short has cut that lead down by at least 2 seconds. It went from about 9 seconds down to about 6.5 at the moment, so slowly closing that gap back up to his teammate.
Not sure when Cameron got loose, but he's been fighting a loose race car on the exits of the corner, and so far Peter Short has gained about 2 seconds now on that lead, about 6.3 seconds back. So he's still trying to hunt. There's still time left, though. We still got a green flag pit stop.
Yeah, we still got like a whole another half of the race to go. So actually, speaking of that, I believe this lap we're going to award halfway points.
We are. So this lap, this upcoming lap, lap 19, is the bonus point lap.
I just noticed that. Yeah, this race is flying by.
But I think once they complete lap 19, that's where the bonus points will kick in.
Yeah, I'd have to believe.
Yeah, because I'm reading 19 laps. Lap 19 is the halfway bonus point.
Well, either way, as long as I stay here, some guys really wouldn't expect to get some of those points. Mike Stevens mentioned lost 2 positions at the moment, but currently 8th, so definitely I'm kind of surprised that he's up here in the top 10. Definitely a very, very good showing from him here today. I don't think we can say enough about him.
I can't say too much. I can't say enough about Mike Stevens so far this season of 2018 because yes, I mean, despite Rockingham and Bristol, he's finished in the top 10 in every race. So, and he's only led 1 lap on the season, which was back in Daytona for the Daytona 250. But he's finished in the top 10 every race, Daytona, Atlanta. But then when it came Rockingham and Bristol, he's finished outside the top 10. But so far, it's been an average finish of an 8th this season for Mike Stevens. So good job on Mike's part.
Absolutely. Definitely hope he can continue this consistency throughout the season. I mentioned earlier, you're 10th in points, so... Definitely seems like a changed Mike Stevens since I was on the track.
It is, you know, and Mike Stevens throughout the entire league, he has an average finish of 13th since 3 Wide came to iRacing. So I think overall Stevens is improving, has improved as a driver last couple seasons really, and he's been knocking on the door for that win. It just has not come yet, but I'm going to tell you, it's going to come for Stevens one of these days.
Absolutely. Yeah, with Stevens, looks like that's probably the closest battle we have on the track at the moment between him and Mike Skinner. And that's about...
Skinner. Wow.
What happened? I'm telling you, man, we should just stop calling names out, because whenever we do, bad stuff happens. And, well, speaking of that battle, now it's definitely a battle, as Stevens is going to get by Mike Skinner.
I don't know. Skinner's going to come back right here on that inside. This is turn number 5. Both drivers took a consistent line. Stevens is at... Oh, my God. Skinner is really loose on the exit. Ooh.
I think these are really two guys that are taking it really conservative at the moment.
Stevens got him right there. Is Skinner going to strike back?
I think Skinner maybe...
He might not.
Perhaps...
maybe not.
Perhaps struggling with some handling issues at the moment. Saw him definitely loose out of turn 5.
We are halfway. So congratulations to Mr. Cameron Rich for grabbing that bonus point. That's a playoff point, and I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to have to double check, I do believe he gets 10 bonus points.
He's led all but 2 laps here tonight.
Alright, so the drivers getting bonus points tonight. Cameron Rich, Peter Short, Sam Close in 3rd, Paul Ross in 4th, Matt Hackathorn gets it right now. In 5th, Nathan Velez will be coming off turn 14 right now. He's going to come and collect his for 6th.
Cameron Rich, not to cut you off, just a little off-track excursion there in turn 5. Got in there too hard.
And this is a battle for 7th between Skinner and Stevens, but I don't think Skinner's going to get there in time for them extra bonus points.
Oh, no, Stevens too loose off turn 14.
Yeah, but Skinner is just left, right, off almost every corner. So give Stevens 7th and Skinner 8th. Jordan Teal looks like he's going to get 9th, and Luis Somaso the top 10.
And actually, with that off-track that Cameron Rich just had, just to go back to the lead real quick, Peter Short has cut down another 2 seconds out of that lead. Peter Short now about 4.5 seconds back of that lead. Oh, and once again, off in the kink there. Just about lost it, but what a job saving it. Oh, and he's going to lose it again? No, he's going to save it, but that slide's definitely going to hurt his tires.
Holy moly.
Oh, he's really having problems right now. Saw it into turn 13 there. He's struggling. We get to 17 laps to go here. Just want to remind you that these camera angles are brought to you by Track Cams for Gourmets. You can get more information about them and download them at www.trackcams22.com or facebook.com/trackcams.
Oh, Hanshaw's around off of Canadian corner there. Just went wide.
Yeah, it's definitely not been a good night for Kyle Hanshaw. Not too many modifieds we've seen here tonight, but the club definitely... Oh my goodness. Our producer just said he has roof damage.
He's off again. He's off again.
I think he may have been just getting out of the way at this point. I don't know if maybe...
He just attempted to pass in the grass.
Well, I'll be.
Uh-oh. You smelling that, Justin? Dun-dun. You got Cameron Rich.
Oh, yeah.
Not too far behind is that little 22 who's making me thirsty for a Mike's Hard Lemonade. Peter Short.
Unfortunately, I can't join you with that. I still got about 2 more years to go. But I'm telling you, Cameron Rich, as he's definitely struggling for grip right now. I think he's pushed it just a bit too hard, and he's got that sideways off every corner thing going right now. And unfortunately,
when he gets on the brakes, some brake blowers are just blowing into that 22.
And one thing Cameron Rich does have going for him, I mentioned it before, do have another pit stop coming up at maybe about 6-7 laps here, so he can just keep it on track. Obviously, he's going to lose a lot of time to Peter Short, but you just got to keep it consistent right now.
About lap 24-25, they should be down pit road.
That was a very strange line into turn 12 there by the 12 or the 17 of Cameron Rich there, but in a slight battle here, on board with I believe that's the 4 of Louis Salmaso.
Yeah,
with Jordan Teal.
Yeah, just ahead of him, Jordan Teal. Yeah, just be a battle.
That's battle on track right now.
Happens.
Pretty even, not seeing a whole lot of sideways off of any or each car.
I'll be honest with you, Justin. I think the most sideways cars I've seen here all night has been the top 2 drivers. I'm not even making that up.
Well, that shows you that they're wheeling it. They really want it. But obviously it's hurt Peter so far, but he's able to make most of it back here tonight, at least half of it. But now it seems like that syndrome has been passed on to Cameron. A little bit loose there off turn 3. And I'm telling you, Pete. Alright, we're gonna follow Cameron Rich here. Just watch the work, or watch him work the wheel here. You're gonna see it, as Tanner would say, left, right, just trying to get the grip back to the rear tires here.
Down turn number 5 right here. Hard, slow corner, left, right, trying to keep the car under control here when you're putting down the power. Going about, up here in turn 6. And a little sideways there, a little harder into 6.
He about dirt tracked it through turn 5 there.
He did. He's still dirt tracking it right here to turn 7. Shaking the wheel, trying to get a little more grip. Down into turn 8. That's a good corner right there for Rich.
It seemed like he may have turned in just a little bit too early, but obviously it's been working for him through the carousel here.
Yeah. And right here, you got coming off the carousel, fighting the wheel, getting really loose. Man, look at that handwork. And I'm telling you, that's actual handwork, folks. That's actually his hands actually moving that wheel.
And now the gap under 2 seconds here, 1.8 the gap. So, as he gets
really gaining.
As he gets through turn 11A there and through Canada corner here, he's going to slide big time there. That was not a good entry into turn 12. But he made it work. Going to lose more time here. Oh, he's in the dirt.
He's in the dirt.
Yeah, he's hurting right now.
Ah, man. I tell you, I ain't joking when I said driving these cars is like dancing with the chainsaw.
No, I'm telling you, man. But as they get through 14 here, we're going to switch over to Peter Short here just for comparison. And this is actually one I really wanted to see, just, the difference in the wheel.
My question to you, Justin, is when you're driving a road course, sometimes do you just kind of just keep an eye on the guy ahead of you and just kind of follow what he's doing? And if so, does that kind of make you a better driver? I guess, because when I drive oval and someone's ahead of me, I'm just kind of just following them, and sometimes I do better when I'm following somebody.
Absolutely, definitely. If they're getting through a portion of the track that you're not as good in, definitely see what they're doing different. See if you can check where their brake markers is. Maybe back up the brakes just a little bit. Maybe I noticed that Peter Short earlier was getting on the rumble strips here in turn 5 a little bit more than Cameron Rich there. You could see it there. A little bit late turn as he's actually going to blink there.
Oh, and Rich was sideways. We're going to have a battle for the race lead.
Absolutely. The tires have caught up to Cameron Rich.
Ain't that funny? The tires caught up in the first run with Peter Short. Now the second run is with Cameron Rich.
And I have to imagine that Rich is going to put up a bit of a fight here. But I don't believe he's going to be able to hold off Peter Short for too long here with how bad that car's handling right now.
Well, we're going to see pit stops in another lap or two, so...
And let me tell you, it couldn't be more timely for Cameron Rich. I'm telling you, I don't know if he's racing asphalt or dirt right now. He is working it.
A little bit of both. I think him and Peter Short both were part of the rallycross for 3Y, weren't they? So they were practicing.
Let me tell you, rallycross is very, very difficult from what I've done in it, so.
Never done it yet.
Oh, again, defensive into turn 12 there from the 17.
Ooh, a little bit of a conservative entrance for Peter Short, though.
And keeps saying defensive line. That you could see him about mid-groove there entering the corner, really just trying to make sure that Peter can't get the nose in, can't get the dive in. Oh, he's going to go off the track. Cameron Rich. And I believe Peter Short's probably going to have the momentum down this front straightaway here.
Oh, man, he's getting loose coming up the hill there.
This is going to be pretty interesting into turn one.
Here we go. This is the same spot that those two drivers made a little contact that sent around Peter Short.
Just brake marker that time. It looked like he was going to try and make the dive, but wisely backed out of it, as Rich is still really loose.
I think he's waiting for Rich to get loose again.
Oh, there he goes. He's going to dirt track it in. This is what's going to happen. He's going to get the momentum. He's going to get side by side. No, he's going to shut the door on him.
Man, look at this. Look at him fishtailing.
Rich does not want to give up this lead.
You don't, man. I tell you what, this is pretty cool to watch these two battle.
Now here's going to be the real trouble spot, I believe, for Rich. He's going to be really defensive. Peter's going to have the better momentum off turn 5, I have to believe.
He does. Rich is still fighting that wheel coming off at almost every corner.
Once again, pretty defensive there.
Yeah, they both got a little loose coming off turn 6. Oh, getting close to the back bumper there.
And just to give you an idea of how much faster Peter Short is compared to Cameron Rich, Peter was a full second faster than Cameron Rich last time by. So, I'm telling you, he wants to get by, just can't really make the move quite yet.
Oh man, I tell you what, I think Cameron Rich was a little better through the carousel. Oh no, on the exit. Man.
This kink's going to be really interesting. Don't carry too much speed out of it.
Oh, Peter Short is definitely better than Rich right there because he gained a little momentum.
I think Rich was a little bit too conservative. He's going to make the move here into turn 12. Going to get to the outside. No, he backs out of it.
Backs out just a little bit of a conservative entrance of turn number 12.
Do you think he can cross over? He's going to do it. No, he's not.
He just doesn't want to clip him.
He is so close.
Oh man, Cameron Rich, man, he's dancing with that car, and eventually he's just going to become a passenger.
Yep. See the defensive line from Cameron Rich there. Peter's probably going to have the better momentum up the hill. No, Cameron's going to pit.
He's going to pit, but man, he almost lost it. That was a late decision right there on Cameron's part, but still made it to pit road. I believe not 35 miles an hour. It's actually 45 miles an hour to pit road. Now remember, down on pit road last time, Cameron Rich overshot his pit box just by a little bit.
Have to see if he does it again. We know those tires are really worn out. It's going to be so easy to miss the pit stall. Does he know where the pit stall is? Okay.
Ooh, he might get too close. Ooh, he got really... Oh, he's got...
Oh, he missed it.
Uh-oh, trouble for Rich.
That might be... Yeah, he's having the... That's going to be it.
That's it. Yeah, Cameron Rich.
Oh, he is having so many problems right now. That's going to be it.
That cost him the race.
Finally gets service done to that 17 car, but it's going to be too little too late. That's going to... with how good Peter Short has been driving, that's going to be the race.
Matt Hackathorn on pit road as well. Nobody really has pitted under that whole time the leaders were pitting, with the exception of Richard Hines and Kyle Hanshaw. So far, Cameron Rich is out and away. Hackathorn is now just getting to his pit box. Michael Skinner's on pit road as well. Cameron Rich lost a ton of time. And plus, he had a little bit of a slow pit stop, 15.4 seconds.
And really, we've seen Cameron Rich be so much more aggressive than Peter Short here this whole race. And obviously, the tires caught up with Cameron Rich. And, I mean, he had a full about 9-second lead between the two, and he was still pushing it that hard. So that's going to have to be the race, I believe. I don't believe there's any way that Cameron Rich comes back unless, and he's still kind of sideways there.
Rich almost lost it coming on into turn 6.
I just don't believe there's going to be any way for Cameron to make up all that time unless Peter Short has a horrible pit stop as well and makes a mistake somewhere else. There's just no way.
Currently 30 seconds off of third place Paul Ross.
And here comes Peter Short to pit road. So he's going to have to make a flawless stop here, and he will all but be gifted this win, I have to believe, Tanner.
Yeah, right now Sam Close has already hit pit road. Paul Ross, I think he's hitting the pits as well. That's the top 3 drivers.
Here comes Paul up the hill. Then we go back to Cameron Rich.
Yeah, who's currently in 4th place, going through turn 13.
Oh, the 22 has missed his box just a little bit as well. Backs it up. No, not quite as bad as the 17, but still an issue on pit road. So here comes Cameron out of turn 14. Coming up the hill. Peter Short down and away. A little bit slower pit stop than Cameron, but it's going to be close.
He'll probably get second here. Yeah, he will, but just because they had a big race lead over the 5 and the 18.
So it looks like 5 seconds is going to be the gap between Peter Short and Cameron Rich. And all that came down to Cameron's pit stop. Well, now Cameron has some work to do if he wants to get back up. He's been driving it so hard, it seems like, and you could see it at the end of that run, just how loose he was, how much abuse he had on the tires.
Yeah, he definitely was, and now we're kind of vice versa here. Now Cameron Rich is in the same situation as he overdrives turn 5. But I tell you what, Cameron Rich, he's now in the same situation as what Peter Short was in the first half of the race. And Rich is just sideways again. He's clipping that grass like crazy, helping that thing rotate all right.
Well, that car got out of his way, so it's clear track between them. But with that off track, Cameron actually lost a second, so even more work to do. I have to believe that if Cameron would just... Oh, he's really loose into the carousel. I have to believe if Cameron just slowed down the corners just a little bit, he may be able to get that car back under him and run down this leader, but I think he may just be overdriving it a bit here.
He's gaining, yeah, but he's overdriving it, but he's gaining. He's already down to 5.8 seconds. That's 6.1 right now. Every driver has made a pit stop. The fastest pit stop time in the top 10 was Mr. Samuel Close in 3rd with a 14.2.
I have to believe, though, we see Cameron even off pit road.
Rich, I thought he was just going around.
Oh, he's off track.
Yeah. Oh man, he just went around.
With how aggressive he's driving, it's going to catch up in the long run here. He's going to have no tires at the end of this race, and with how good Peter Short's driving right now, again, unless Peter makes a huge mistake, I just don't see it.
Well, we know Cameron's already practicing for Eldora if he drives to Eldora this week.
Absolutely.
That's this weekend on Sunday night. Paul Ross, something happened to Paul. Back down pit road. Penalty? Not seeing any damage. If he stops in his box, I think he had a pit road speed penalty. I'll have to see if anything's telling me anything here.
No, he's going to come back to his box. Maybe he'd stop and go. No, he's going to get service. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
That's I imagine, 15-second penalty. Perhaps, Tanner, do you think maybe... I don't believe speeding will get you a stop and go. Perhaps maybe he exited pit road incorrectly?
Let me look back just to see.
Because I know there's a yellow line. Yeah, I'm going to take a look as well.
You got 4 tires. I know that. There's no off-track official tonight to really determine that.
I do see a little yellow line there. I'm wondering if he clipped that.
Yeah, you could.
Let's take a look here. Oh! I don't see it. I'm not quite sure what he got penalized for.
The only, battle for top 5 right now, that is going to be... Oh, Skinner's off track. Skinner just gave up a spot of 6 to Velez because he just went off track. But I really think the only possible scenario I can come up with for Paul Ross was that was a pit road speeding penalty. He did stop in his box, so his time was an 18. He did take a service though. I'll have to ask Paul at the end of this race just to see.
Perhaps maybe he didn't take tires or fuel or something like that. Maybe a small mistake.
Yeah, he did take tires for sure, but maybe he didn't get it full all the way. I don't know. There could be so many scenarios.
Yeah, we got a pretty good battle right here between the 63, the 83. Now it's going to be Mike Stevens against Johnny Thomas there. That's for 10th. Or 11th, excuse me. Mike Stevens, the loser in that battle, lost 2 spots, back to 12th at the moment. You're on board there with Johnny Thomas. Now trying to catch down the 91 of Dylan Hickey.
Johnny's been quiet today. Normally we see Johnny making some kind of noise, but today he's been fairly quiet. Currently sitting in 12th right now after starting 10th.
I feel like Johnny's been fairly conservative here today. We saw he let go, or let, I'm not quite sure which car it was. It was the, okay, it was the 91. Let him by earlier in the race. I think he's just kind of conserving his car at the moment, doesn't want to push it too hard, and maybe just hoping that he saves his tires for the end. As he's actually off the dirt a little bit there. He cut that rumble strip just a little bit too close there.
All right.
We did mention with the lead, it was about 6 seconds. Now it's extended to 7.5. So, him and Rich obviously pushing the car a bit too hard and keeps losing time here.
Yeah, I might have a bad. Maybe not. I thought it could be bad. It was a lap car. That was Hanshaw. But the closest battle will probably be Skinner and Velez.
Sure. Right
behind those two cats is Paul Ross. No, Paul Ross, if he gets by Skinner and Velez, he'll be back in the top 5. He's been running the top 5 all night. He was running, what, 4th all night to Sam Close. And those 3 OG guys have been playing really conservative all night. We haven't talked too much about them.
Well, that'd be quite the comeback for Paul Ross if he can get by these 2 cars in front of him.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be back in the top 5, so... And he did get bonus points for, I think it was 4th place bonus points. But that's worth 7 points. Luis Salmaso is currently in 8th. I'm just trying to see if there's any other battles on the racetrack. Not that I'm currently seeing. Everybody's kind of fanned out right now.
And Peter Short's lead just continues to extend little by little. So, well, Cayman Rich had led 21 laps here tonight. Have to see if he can get back to that lead, but...
Wonder what changed for the Peter Short crew, because actually Peter Short just disappeared. He is gone.
He blinked once before. I believe he is back on track.
Just back. Yeah, well, he just blinked out for me here. I don't know if that's a glitch on my end, probably.
I know he did that earlier in the race, so possibly a small connection issue with the 22. Hopefully that doesn't impact the finish of this race. That'd be very unfortunate.
Yeah, looking at his numbers, it looks fine right now, so it must be just something on my end. Updates on drivers that did run today's race. Rusty Webb, Wade Lear, Nick Miller, and Levi Szalinski have taken it to the garage. They are currently out of this race today. So very unfortunate for them drivers.
Currently 13 cars on the lead lap, with Richard Lafferty being the first one to lap down. In 14th, Chad Brown 15th, 2 laps down. And Kyle Hanshaw, actually surprisingly still on track, still running with that modified. Currently 4 laps down in 16th. You go. You see some information about Road America there. Some of the weather. 75 degrees here today.
Yeah, this is the first non-65-degree race, and according to the rule book, they're going off of real-life weather, and it's been fairly warm. Tomorrow it's supposed to be even warmer yet for Road America. So, and I'm about 25 minutes away from the racetrack itself. 25 minutes. So, it's been fairly decent. The weather's been improving, but we're supposed to get some rain, but not tonight. These drivers are in full sunshine. Track's heating up. That's why sometimes you see the drivers battle loose condition on the corner exit. Oh, we got a car in the grass. That's Kyle Hanshaw just ahead of Velez and Skinner. No harm, no foul.
You mentioned heating up. That battle for, I believe, 5th place starting to heat up just a little bit here between Nathan Velez and Michael Skinner here with Paul Ross just behind as well.
It's a 3-car battle, realistically, and it's probably it is the closest on the racetrack than any other, because everybody else is fanned out right now. But Skinner has gunned down Velez, and if they start battling, look for Paul Ross to be in the popcorn position if anything happens to Velez and Skinner.
Absolutely, and we know that Skinner has been a little loose off the corners here. He has to make sure that he doesn't push it too hard to try and get this position. Have to still race 8 more laps, so. This is entering turn 5 here. I believe that was the 48 who kind of locked up the brakes a little bit.
What a whale of a comeback for Paul Ross if he can get by Velez and Skinner, because Paul Ross, I think there was a penalty on Paul Ross's part. I don't want to say loose lug nut. Ross is actually getting on Skinner. What Paul does here down 7, gets a little closer to that NOS Energy Chevrolet of Mike Skinner. Different look of a paint scheme this week for Paul Ross. What's that say? House of Color? Color? Oh, Color.
Definitely close that gap out of the car, so I'll have to see what he can do in the kink.
This beautiful paint scheme director, yeah, and Paul, I know, does his own paint scheme, so.
Absolutely. Does some really good ones as well.
He does. Oh, he took a little hard into 8 there. That's going to lose a little ground to Skinner. Or not 8, excuse me, that's turn 12, Canada corner.
Yeah, I'll have to work on regaining that. But,
got 7 laps to do it, so there's plenty of time.
Absolutely. And one thing for Michael Skinner he has going for him, it seems like he hasn't been... Well, I was going to say, it doesn't seem like he's quite as tail happy, but as soon as I said that, loose out of turn 14. Yeah, he did a very good job saving that.
I have to say, Justin, that as all my years I have driven for this, have been a part in some way, shape, or form in this league of 3-wide racing.
Paul Ross overshot that corner, by the way.
Yeah, he definitely did. No, it's okay. No big deal. I've been kind of cutting you off a lot of times tonight. But this is what I was going to get at. This is relatively one of the most cleanest road courses that I've seen in a while for 3-wide.
Absolutely.
You'll see a lot of spin-outs just because it's so challenging, too. But today, these guys are doing a fairly decent job because we got 12 cars still remaining on the lead lap. That's pretty good.
Absolutely, and I know a lot of these guys here have been in the league for, Paul's going to overshoot turn 5 once again, or turn 5. And that's going to lose all his time to Michael Skinner there, but a lot of these guys in the field here tonight have been racing in this league for quite a while. They've done a lot of road course racing, albeit mostly with, went from the B car to the A car, but a lot of them have had a lot of road course experience here in 3-wide, so possibly learning from each time they've come to a road course. Learning what to do, what not to do, and how far to push their car.
It's a difficult thing to manage for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I think we didn't see it happen there, Justin, but Stevens got loose about on lap 23 a little while ago, and he hit the inside wall by pit road by the start-finish line really hard, and it cost him a number of positions. He's on pit road right now in 13th.
And that's very unfortunate. Was putting together a very good top 10 run here tonight. Had fallen back to 12th, but it looks like that's unfortunately not where he's going to be finishing here tonight.
I apologize. I'm not very in the excitement of tonight's festivities, like I usually am on an oval. Usually, when cars get spread out like this, it's they're just kind of logging laps, and we're just kind of waiting to see if something happens on the racetrack. But although overall we have seen some pretty good battles, like the battle for the race lead. Paul Ross is a little misfortune trying to gain on Skinner right now. Some couple spins here and there, but not as bad.
Let me tell you, that battle for the lead before the second pit stop, that was the battle of the race right there. That was absolutely fantastic, and I was really surprised that the 22 was not able to get by him, but obviously all it took was a pit road mistake and for Cameron to kind of get loose in a couple corners, and he has actually spread this lead out to a 10-second lead.
Well, Cameron Rich is 2 for 2 on pit road mistake this evening, so he's going to have to clean that up in future races, not just any road course, but the next event as well for the RaceKings Cup Series. And by the way, the RaceKings Cup Series for this series after Road America will be back on Monday night, May 7th at Five Flags Speedway. A tough little short track for these Gen 6 Cup cars. We'll be going 200 laps there next week, May 7th.
That's going to be a heck of a show. I remember, I believe last time 3 Wide was there, it was for the Super Late Model event. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was quite the show as well. It's going to be very interesting to see
I was there.
Cup cars. That was quite the interesting event, but it's going to be even more interesting with these Cup cars. That's going to be it's going to be pretty crowded there.
Be crowded indeed. I kind of do expect some drivers kind of get some bumper tags here and there. That's just the nature of those short tracks. Bristol, we actually was relatively clean. Actually, we got a car off track. Skinner, here we go. Battle for 6th. Paul Ross is going to take advantage of that situation, overtake it, and Skinner's still out of whack. But Skinner, that cost him a position of 6th to Paul Ross. And now Ross has got to catch Velez now.
And unless Velez makes a mistake, I believe that's where he's going to finish in 6th. He's been pretty steady, Paul Ross, here tonight, but so has Nathan Velez. Currently 5.5 seconds to Velez.
Well, I hate to curse Velez here, and I'm probably going to, but let's talk about Nathan Velez here for a minute. Very consistent tonight at a road course. Nathan, I do believe he did serve a penalty on the season. I'm trying to find him on my list, and I cannot find Nathan. Where was he in points?
Unfortunately, I don't have that pulled up. I was
Okay, I got it. He is he's had some disappointing finishes today. If he finishes in the top 10 today, it'll be his first top 10 of the season. I do believe he did finish or did have a penalty for the Rockingham race, so he did not race Rockingham. Actually, there was a penalty from Atlanta.
I believe it was Justin Krasneski that was in that 48 car at Rockingham. Correct me if I'm wrong.
But... Oh, yeah, you're right. I totally forgot about that.
But yeah, he's been very consistent today. Hasn't overdrove it too much. And it looks like he's about 4 laps away from taking it to a top 5 finish.
Peter Short's lead just grew to 12 seconds.
And it looked like he just put the 83 of Johnny Thomas lap down.
I think I just accidentally said Peter Rich. I don't know why I said that. But Peter Short's lead has grown to 12 seconds. And Sam Close is quietly in 3rd. Hackathorn 4th. And Velez running off the top 5. So good showing on Velez's part. Gets first top 5 and top 10 finish of the season. That's exactly what he would need to try to get back into this ball game of the season here for RaceKings Cup Series. Who lost to his hood?
Oh yeah, Jordan Teal, the 33 in 9th place, has lost his hood. Not sure when that occurred, but definitely has some front end damage as well.
I can tell you in a few minutes here. That was a while ago, actually. That was lap 24.
Oh yeah, it looks like he, well, I believe we just saw when, I did at least, when Mike Stevens...
Yeah, he wrecked in turn 8. He actually just spun out, got the power down too much and hit the tire barrier, and that's how he lost his hood, down turn 8 by the Speedville-Johnsonville tunnel.
And just caught that tire barrier too there, a small little tire barrier. Well, he's still in the top 10, so...
Yeah, he's had an up-and-down day. Jordan Teal started 5th, had some miscues here and there, spin-outs, still run silent top 10. He's actually the last driver on the lead lap, so Johnny Thomas just went a lap down, and actually he's in the top 10 now.
And that just shows you how good Peter Short is right now. He had that small mistake in turn 1 earlier in the race when he got into his teammate, but Tanner, it seemed like ever since then, he's cleaned up his act, and he's been all but perfect here tonight so far.
He definitely has. He's been running consistent lap times like crazy in the second half of the race. I think the driver that's really lost track of his lap times has been Cameron Rich, especially in the second half. Not sure what's going on. He's overdriving the car, trying to do everything he can to catch Peter Short, but he's just been losing ground every single lap.
And that's just, again, we've kind of seen it ever since about lap 2. Just that 17 car just does not look like it's had the grip it's needed all night. But even fighting for the lead, he somehow held the 22 off with that lack of grip.
Here's a good way to determine how much he's fallen off. Best lap time for Cameron Rich, 2:13.7. Right now, last time by at the start finish line, a 2:18.1. Compared to Peter Short's, he also ran a 2:13.5, which is the fastest lap time of the race, but now he's fallen off to a 2:16.5. So that's huge.
That's a 2-second difference. I noticed that before and was going to point it out, but you kind of segued into it perfectly. That's quite the difference there.
All right, we're coming down to it here at Road America for the 2018 RaceKings Cup Series, round number 5. We are right now 3 laps to go. It will be 2 to go once Peter Short hits the start-finish line.
A little bit loose out of the kink there, but no harm, no foul.
Yep, there's no pressure from behind.
He's really just got to deal with lap cars here right now and has to finish off these 3 final laps. And
been kind of watching some of these drivers in the top 10. Nathan Velez has kind of started catching that 44 of Matt Hackathorn little by little here. It's not much, but it's getting down there. So if we ever do see a battle on track, the closest one will probably be between Velez and Hackathorn. Last time by, Velez was a lot quicker than Hackathorn, so...
Well, that just kind of surprises me that Hackathorn's actually in 4th place. You know, I don't really think of him as a road racer, but he's actually going to put down a shitty finish here tonight. A really good finishing position here at Road America.
Yeah, he started 7th, and now he's up in the top 5 and 4th. And so it's been a great day for Matt Hackathorn. Kept that car clean all race long. I don't even think I've ever seen him. I think he's one of the most stablest cars on the racetrack.
Well, as our director just pointed out, that the fastest car last time by was at 18 of Paul Ross with a 2:17.5 compared to Peter Short's 2:17.6, so a 10th faster. But Paul's wheeling it right now.
He's catching Velez too, so it's about a second off now.
Let's see what these guys can do coming to the white flag here. Or excuse me, with 2 laps right, but yeah, still coming to the white flag though.
Well,
Peter Short in turn 7 there, coming to turn 8.
Yep, Peter Short finally got that act together, got that car under control, and right now he's whooping butt out there because he's pulled out a 15 and about 14-second gap over Cameron Rich. I do believe Cameron Rich will be credited for the most laps led tonight, but what a topsy-turvy of a race between those 2 drivers. At first, Peter Short, the start of the race, didn't start leading the lap until the second half of the race. Even though Short was the pole sitter, Cameron Rich practically dominated the first 20 laps of this event. And then finally, all of a sudden, Cameron Rich started falling off, overdriving the car, fighting the car, and he's in the same shoes as what Peter Short was in the first half of the race. So it's been a topsy-turvy of a race between the top two drivers. Nonetheless, it is now separated into about a 14.5-second gap between the two drivers.
Absolutely. I feel like once that 22 had that mistake entering turn 1 with his teammate, we've seen a change to Peter Short. Has been the steadiest car, I believe, on track so far, and he's coming up the hill right now. He's about to take this white flag. All he has to do is finish this final lap, and he'll get the win here tonight. A hard-earned one at that.
White flag for Peter Short, working on his third win of the season of the RaceKings Cup Series for 3 Wide Racing. Be coming down in turn number 1. Now, I have kept an eye on the battle between Paul Ross and Nathan Velez. That gap was closed up. But I think Paul Ross just made a little bit of a mistake that cost him a little bit of a time. Right now, those drivers are going through turn number 8. About a 1.5-second gap between those drivers, but nonetheless, Peter Short coming off from turn number 3. Going through turn 4, even though it's a straightaway.
And to answer the question before, Cameron Rich will be credited with the most laps led here tonight with 21, and Peter Short looks like he's going to come home with 14. And Sam
we got a little loose, Peter Short.
Well, at least he has some insurance at the moment. He's got 15 seconds of insurance, but oh yeah, a little loose at the exit of 5 as well. And just to note, Sam Close is the only other driver who has led laps here tonight with 2 led. But through 7, coming down to 8 to the carousel.
Nothing has changed between the 5th place spot between Velez and Paul Ross. So
Paul's actually off track in 14.
Oh!
Now that's going to...
he's got damage.
I believe he caught the wall there. Unfortunately, that's going to... Looks like cost him a top 5. Take a look at the replay here. A little loose out of 13 it appeared, and just caught that wall.
Unfortunate.
Absolutely. Well, our leader here through turn 11, the kink there, through 11A here.
Turn 12.
Has to maneuver 2 more corners here.
All right. Well, coming off Canada corner. Turn 12 through turns number 13 right here. Then we're going to head down into turn 14, which is the final corner. All he's got to do is take it nice and easy right here. No pressure from behind. There were not any challenges today for Isentech Motorsports as they dominated the race here at Road America between Rich and Short. But it's Cameron Rich who sat on the pole today, and he's going to come out on top at Road America. Congratulations to Peter Short. Checkered flag in the air. Cameron Rich, more than likely, who's going to finish in 2nd after getting loose right there off of turn 14. He will finish 2nd place, so good job in Isentech Motorsports to finish, or Isentech Enterprises, excuse me, finishing 1-2. Damn close. Very quiet day, very consistent day, very bought his time in the race. Started 3rd. He will finish in 3rd.
Led some laps as well, and Matt Hackathorn still has some track to work through coming through the kink right now.
Does. More than likely going to finish in 4th, and Velez is more than likely going to finish in 5th. Good top 5 finish for Nathan Velez.
Absolutely. Paul Ross, with whatever issues he had, going to come home, it looks like 6th.
All right.
Second trip down pit road.
Kind of waiting for these drivers to finish up here. I know we're kind of coming down to the end of the race because we're going to be, but don't be going away, folks. Yes, the race is done, but we're going to be talking to our top 3 drivers, Peter Short, Cameron Rich, and Sam Close.
And here comes Matt Hackathorn to the line with 4th, and Nathan Velez round out the top 5 there.
Good job on Velez's part. Top 5 finish.
Absolutely. As well as Matt Hackathorn as well in 4th.
Absolutely. Hackathorn, great day. He was he was like a 3OG guy today, man. Just really kept it quiet, didn't do anything. Just had a consistent day. Got a top 5 finish out of it. All right. Well, what do you say? Should we bring up some drivers here there, Justin? See here. Let's talk to 3rd place first, Sam Close, since we'll let the leader do his burnouts. Let's bring up Sam Close into the booth here. Sam Close, 3Y TV, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Very quiet day for you, Sam. You started third and you finished third. A very quiet day indeed. You really kept that car intact. There's not a scratch on that car, I'm not saying. Maybe some dirt here and there, but although it's been a very quiet day, tell me about your race overall.
It might have looked quiet. It didn't feel quiet, that's for sure. The car was a handful. I'm really happy with the third. My goal was the top 5. I'm just happy that I kind of kept those guys in my sights for a little while. Our pit strategy was a little bit off, I think. I thought I had to stay out another lap in order to make it to the end on the pit cycles, and it turns out that I could have pitted a lap earlier. I lost some time there, but all in all, I mean, being able to somewhat pace with them is an improvement. That was my goal. It was to really try to improve, and I think I accomplished that. I learned some things, but tonight was really tough, and I'm sure the other guys will tell you that too, even though they're, in another zip code. But all in all, it was fun. The front tires you could lose grip in the front tires a little bit. Made one mistake. Going down into the hard left-hander at the bottom of the hill, and lost a bunch of time there. But I'm happy with P3. I didn't expect to win this race, but I'm trying to grow, and hopefully it'll benefit me next time we go to a road course.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said something about the car was it was hard to manhandle. It was just a whale of a car. I kind of pronounced it as driving the car in them loose conditions is like dancing with a chainsaw. Was the weather effective, or was it just a setup on the car? How hard is it, in your mind's perspective? How hard is it to really drive these things on a road course? Because it seems like almost every road course, these things are a lot handled than what other viewers are seeing on camera.
Well, we had 2 practices this week, and the temperature was probably about 10 degrees colder ambient, and then the track was a lot cooler too, and there was a lot more grip in the car. I ran like a 2:08.2 in practice, just to put things in perspective. Wow. And once we got to this tonight, obviously the weather in Wisconsin somehow took a turn for the worse for us, and it was just really slick. Talking to my teammates, I think Luis said it might have been hitting the splitter going in at times when you're braking really hard, and then getting out of the corners, it was really loose. You had to be on your game to keep it on the track. So very difficult to drive. A good bit of counter steering. Yeah, some of the corners you had to hit the brake right at the right time, get the back end swung out just the right amount, and then getting the gas right at the right moment to be fast. And it really wasn't comfortable at all the whole night. If you watch the wheel, or if you watch the in-car, some of the wheels, I'm sure, I think being smooth was really important, but even when you were being smooth, it would step out on you. So just really, really difficult. Tough race.
Absolutely. And now, since we got Road America, the tough race, out of the way, we're going to another tough race, in my opinion, for the Gen 6 Cup cars, or for the RaceKings Cup Series, because we're going to Five Flags Speedway next week. And last year, I do believe you got caught up in an incident, but you did finish third in the Rumble back in 2015 at Five Flags, 3Wide's first ever Rumble. How do you feel about walking into Five Flags, and how do you feel about your chances on possibly going to victory lane in that race?
I think being out front in the top 5 somewhere is going to be really important. To not be in the mess of cars is going to be huge. These cars at Five Flags are going to be insane. So being up front, staying consistent, and staying out of trouble are going to be the key points. And you know what? If I qualify down the field, that strategy will have to change. I'll have to figure out a way to miss the wrecks. But hopefully we can get a good queue in and just kind of get up front, get track position, and stay there. Otherwise, it's going to be a long night.
All right, Sam. Well, congratulations on third place finish, even though it looked quiet from up here in the booth for you, but definitely not in the cockpit since it was a manhandle to drive that car here tonight. By the way, before I let you go, do you know what happened to Paul Ross? He made another pit stop after his second one.
I think Paul sped in pits once and lost time there. And then he had an incident or two. But Paul was pretty strong. He just, had a couple mistakes, which really, really bite you on a road course. No cautions, no way to make up the time, other than on the track. So, it happens. And it was kind of weird. I didn't personally practice pitting in very much, and I think we both should have done that a little bit more, getting down to speed, coming up that hill at the right time.
All right, Sam. Well, thank you for telling us information and all the information from each question here tonight, and we wish you the best of luck next week at Five Flags Speedway.
Thank you, guys. Quick shout out to 3OG, my teammates, Luis doing the paint jobs, Paul for running the show. Big thanks to 3 Wide Racing. Big thanks to you guys, our broadcasters. Thanks to everybody that puts this on. Even though this might have been a boring race to watch, it was fun to participate in. Just thanks to everybody involved. I appreciate everybody there.
All right, folks, that's Sam Close finishing third here tonight at Road America. Now I'm going to give hand this to Justin Kolb. I believe you have caught up with second place Cameron Rich.
Absolutely. Cameron Rich, 3Wide TV, you got us?
Yep.
Well, it was quite the battle between you and your teammate Peter Short there, really all the way to pit stops there. Kind of walk us through your race, because it got pretty close a couple times there.
Well, I was kind of making a mockery of the whole track in the beginning, and I guess he braked later than I did and spun out, and, I thought maybe I have a shot, but after the pit stop, he made up 6 seconds on me or something like that, so I just kind of nosedived after that. And that last pit stop kind of pissed me off, because I was pretty damn sure I was in my stall, but it kept saying I was too far right, so I was just like, that was my race right there. Just, after that, it's just, I'm not going to have no shot after that.
Absolutely. That was extremely unfortunate. We did notice, however, it seemed like grip was an issue for a lot of guys out there tonight. It seemed like a little bit for you, a little bit squirrely out of each corner. Was that a big issue for you tonight?
Yeah, for some reason, the rear tires, after about 6-7 laps, they turned their 2 weeks in on me and just quit. So I don't know. I don't know what the hell I was doing wrong. It seemed like I was making a mockery of the entire track, because I was wheel hopping, spinning the tires off every corner, just kind of not really driving well at all. If I had to grade my performance, I'd give it a big fat F- there, but really I didn't know what I could do differently, because I was just trying to make the best laps I could, and I don't know, I was doing something wrong, obviously, because it just was not working.
Well, still came home second, and next week we go from a difficult track to a more difficult track, Five Flags Speedway. Very short track around there, not a whole lot of room. What's your outlook on that track?
I'm really excited, because that's I was actually born near Pensacola, so kind of a home track for me. I've been there in real life a couple times, and really excited to hopefully win again there, because I won last year, and that would be really awesome.
All right,
and I love short tracks too. More short tracks.
Absolutely. Who doesn't love short tracks? So before we let you go, you got anybody you want to thank?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting those. So hopefully, you didn't catch the times I mowed the grass too many times. It was kind of embarrassing.
Well,
Well, thank Corey for putting this stuff on, and our good friend Carlos for sponsoring the series so we can race every week. It's really cool. And my awesome teammates. They're really fun to race with.
all right. Well, that's second place finisher Cameron Rich. Cameron, thank you, and good luck next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, Tanner, we'll let you handle the race leader here, Peter Short.
The champagne has sprayed for Peter Short in an up-and-down race, but still comes away with the win after sitting on a pole. And Peter, do you got a copy?
10-4.
Hey, Peter, man, I tell you what, you had a, I don't want to say a horrific start to the race, but it was a challenging start to the race for you because it just seemed like everything flip-flopped. You had the difficulties in the early state, very beginning part of the race to the middle, and all of a sudden, what Cameron Rich was going through was practically the same stuff you were going through at the start of the race. First and foremost, tell me about the start of the race there. Were you just trying to play conservative, or and then when you were trying to go for the race lead, you looked like you made contact with a little bit with Cameron for the race lead. Talk about those two incidents.
Yeah, I mean, you basically summed it up. Turn one, I just kind of cooked it a little bit too much, and I was conservative in turn one. Well, I thought I was, and then Cameron was able to get to my inside and make the move for me. So, I thought, okay, well, I'll settle in behind him and see what he has and see what I have. And a couple laps went by. I think he pulled out to maybe 1.5, 2 second lead, something like that. I ran him back down, and it's actually with a setup like tonight's setup, it was really difficult to pass. It seemed like every braking zone was a passing opportunity, but the issue was you had to get a good run off the corner to even make that opportunity arise, and in order to get a good run up off the corner, you had to, put the power down a little bit better. And when you put the power down a little bit more, it just spun the rear tires, and I think that first run, I just ate up my rear tires. Trying to get good runs up off the corner to catch Cameron, and there was one time we were going to turn one, and I'd just eaten up my rear tires so much that my back end just kind of swung around. I couldn't stop, and made some contact. I did everything I could to stay off of him, and everything I could do to not wreck my teammate, and he came away with the better of it, which was what I wanted once I realized I'm going to plow into the back of this guy. And, from there, it was kind of play the makeup game. There was one time going down the backstretch that, on that first run, where it just snapped away from me, and I hit the right side wall in a left bend. So, got a little bit of damage, but it didn't affect the car. Next two runs were much smoother, much cleaner. I was able to run down Cameron, and he had some bad luck on the last pit stop. But, took advantage of that, was able to pull away and get the W tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And, with what changed, because with you, correct me if I'm wrong, the car was kind of out of control for you in the first part of the race. I should say the first 15 laps of the race. And then all of a sudden you started riding very smooth lap times in the second half. Was it the driver that changed something? Was it the track that changed? Because it just seemed like the first portion of the race was very difficult for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think when a driver goes through a full life cycle of tires, like I did in that first run, the fact that I was all over the place at the end of that first run really helped when I got onto fresh tires. It meant I had to be a lot smoother, because I had to be a lot smoother on that first run, because else I would wreck the car. So I think me having to be as smooth as I could, which was still out of control, carried over to the second run when I got those fresh tires, and I was able to preserve the rear tires a little bit better. And from then on, for the rest of the race, I was just kind of smooth and didn't have too many mistakes and hit my marks, and was able to track down Cameron with doing so.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very good description right there because we just seen you kind of all over the place, and all of a sudden it was very smooth. So, but that very smooth got you the win as well. The catch up back to Cameron before the second half of the green light pit stops. All right, Peter. Now, every time you've raced here in the 2018 RaceKings Cup Series, you've practically have won every single official points race from Daytona, Atlanta. You weren't here for Rockingham or Bristol, but you're here tonight for Road America, and you won. So next week is Five Flag Speedway. First question is, will you be at Five Flag Speedway? And the second question is, since you had a dominating performance so far this season every time you enter the racetrack, how do you feel about your chances on winning Five Flag Speedway?
So yes, I'm not going back to New Zealand for next week, so I will be here. Or I don't know, is it next weekend or the week after? I don't know at this point. But last year I had some computer issues at Five Flags. I felt like I had a really good car. I started on the pole last year, so I had some computer issues. I got the blue screen of death mid-race. I just taken the lead actually from Cameron Rich when I got the blue screen of death. So. I felt pretty comfortable last year there, and I hope to be so this year too.
All right, Peter, so far it's been a great season for you with the exception of the Bristol and Rockingham. Hope you enjoyed your trip to New Zealand. Sounds like you did, and we will see you next week at Five Flag Speedway. Best of luck to you.
All right, I thank you guys for all you do. You all put on a really good show.
That's Peter Short winning tonight's race at Road America. Trying to put him back in Isentech Motorsports team. There we go. And let's go over the finishing results, get our final thoughts, our final thanks, and wrap her up. So, Peter Short winning tonight's race, Cameron Rich in second. Third place, Samuel Close. Matt Hackathorn comes away with a fourth place finish. Nathan Velez, first top 5 and top 10 of the season, gets fifth. Paul Ross, man, he was running the top 5 all night, and I think that pit road speeding penalty is what really hurt him. That has him finishing 6th. Michael Skinner finishes in 7th. Luis Amasso gets my credit for maybe not. But either way, he finishes 8th after starting 16th. So good job on Luis's part. First car, one lap down, Jordan Teal. And rounding out the top 10, Mr. Johnny Thomas. I'll have you take the rest there, Justin.
All right, well, Dylan Hickey going to come home 11th here tonight. Richard Hines 12th. Richard Lafferty 13th. Chad Brown 14th. Kyle Hanshaw with the modified club member there in 15th. Michael Stevens unfortunately finishes 16th tonight. He's putting together a really good one. Wade Lear going to finish 17th. Levi Szalinski 18th. Again, another unfortunate finish for him. He was running very well up until his incident. Nick Miller going to finish 19th. Cody Wright 20th.
And blackjack position, Rusty Webb and Corey Lindsay finishes 22nd, Rusty Webb 21st. And I got to give my Hard Charger award to Richard Hines, gained 10 spots, 9 spots. Started 21st, finished 12th. I hate to say it's my man, Mr. Levi Rowdy Szalinski, but he becomes the biggest dropper, biggest loser tonight. Started 4th, finishes 18th. Ouch. But nonetheless, we wrap up Road America. Justin, we've seen the fairly clean, but at times exciting battles on the racetrack here at Road America. Final thoughts on Road America and your thoughts on Five Flags next week.
Well, it's still good to be in a Ford. It's still good to be at Isentech Motorsports. Just keeps up their domination. And action between the two tonight was very exciting. And going into Five Flags Speedway, that's going to be a crowded track. It's not the biggest one, and these Gen 6 Cup cars aren't the smallest cars either. I'm, either way, very excited to see how that one plays out and how it races.
It's certainly doable. We were racing there last year in the Cup Series. And Cameron Rich did win that race. I do believe that was the case, right? Yeah, Cameron won that race last year. So, and Peter Short sat on the pole in that race. So it's going to be very interesting to see Five Flags in these Cup cars for sure. Got a couple thanks before we get off here tonight. First and foremost, thanks to the league, the 3-Wide Racing League, for allowing 3-Wide TV to broadcast these races for them. Got to thank one of our sponsors here tonight, Track Cams for Gourmet. Visit them at www.trackcams22.com for custom track and car camera files. And you can immerse yourself for more information on their website. They did great camera work for our director in the booth here, in the production truck. That was Mr. Carlos Acosta. Good job on the directing here tonight. Thanks to Justin Cole for being in the booth with me here tonight to help me call the action. And from everybody up here in 3 Wide Racing, take care, everybody, and we will see you next week for the Five Flag Speedway on May 7th, same time, same place. Good night, everybody.